I digress. So the United Nations, 1948, they put out a Universal Declaration of Basic Human Rights. All right? I'm going to quote it right now. The UN states that, quote, everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression without interference. All right? And that's my problem right now, because we go right beyond mainstream media. We go right to social media. Who knows how long this video is going to be on here before they call it hate speech, because I'm going after the media and I'm going after Zuckerberg himself. We had a massive purge recently of everybody on the media. All conservatives. So yes, they took off some extreme left-wingers too. Good for you. They had what, 2, 3 followers? We have people with 20 million followers who make their livings off of social media. They literally support their families and their livelihoods, and they were taken down because it was, quote, political hate speech. All it was a different thought process than what is in the mainstream media. It wasn't hate speech for the majority of it. The editor for Redoubt News was kicked off. The editor for Redoubt News, and she's not. Oh yeah, there's nothing extreme about her. Every time we write an article that she considers, man, Redoubt News, they're all over us to make sure that we give them sources and facts, and we check both sides, because they don't want to be spun out of context looking terrible. So they actually try, and that's why Liberty or Death 2 is co-sponsored, the 3% of Washington, with Redoubt News, because Redoubt News is sponsoring this with us. Thank you, Cherie Davale. You're a saint. You've been awesome, and I'm so glad to be partnered with you for this endeavor here, and I can't wait to see you in a week. So, before Liberty or Death, I'm going to give some examples of what we were dealing with. All right? Before Liberty or Death, The Stranger out of Seattle, news organization, actually contacted me weeks ahead of the rally. And they were the only one that asked me anything before the rally. And I will actually say that one of the comments I made to the reporter who was talking to me on the phone was, I really hope that you're not going to smear this and make me look bad. And I will say that I was shocked for a very, very liberal news organization. This reporter did not quote me out of context. He was very careful to make sure that he said exactly what I said. Now, he spun it to make it look like it was Proud Boys and Patriot Prayer that were planning the entire rally, which wasn't the case, but they made sure to quote me saying that we're not racist, because we're not. We're not extremist, because we're not. We're not anti-government, because we're not. We might be anti-tyrannical government, but we're not anti-government. And I was pleasantly surprised and actually have a newfound respect for at least one reporter at The Stranger, just because he had some journalistic integrity. Now, after that, the SPLC called it a noisy hate rally by a bunch of white supremacists. So thank you, SPLC, for completely botching what happened that day. The Guardian said, oh yeah, they made fun of our crowd size, and then they labeled us extremist gun nuts who have no grasp on reality. So thank you, The Guardian. That was interesting. Oh, the Seattle Times, which has already been known. We got them on the record on at least 2 other occasions, slandering Washington 3% directly and refusing to make corrections when we call them out with fact. Yeah, they made sure to link us to the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville and say that we are somehow from Washington State, the same people who rioted and carried torches as crazy extremists in Charlottesville. Well, first off, we publicly condoned the rally, told all members that they will not go, they should not go, that we didn't agree with it, there was going to be hate groups there, and we denounced anything that happened afterwards as well. So I don't know why you're trying to relate this craziness that happened there to Washington 3%, but Seattle Times, you're pretty messed up, and I'm more than disappointed with you because you've got this clear bias against our organization because we have opposing political views. How about you do what you're supposed to, give us the facts, and we'll choose for ourselves. I'm not asking anybody ever for a glory piece of Washington 3%. What I'm asking for is you put the facts on the table and let the people decide, because I know that if you put the facts on the table, we're going to grow like we've been doing. So good job, Washington 3%. Sputnik. Sputnik was blatant. So that's the 5th article that came out on this rally. Sputnik was blatant, and they called it a mere white supremacist rally. They didn't apparently, this is written after the rally, they didn't listen to my opening speech. I opened the rally with telling everybody to get the F out of our rally if they are bigots, base their things on race, are white supremacists. Get out now. I pointed to the back. So apparently Sputnik just didn't care. They're just like, oh, look, an opportunity. Let's slander these guys. So yeah, that's exactly how they took that one. The Daily Beast. Here's another one that was pretty bad. The Daily Beast wrote an article, and it was about us, and they started talking about the problem with the Proud Boys, the 3% militias, Patriot Prayer, and this is quote, multicultural white supremacy as an epidemic. Wrap your heads around that, like multicultural white supremacy. They've lost their freaking minds. Like somehow this is something that we need to, I don't even know where to go with this. Multicultural white supremacy is a problem in America. Thank you, the Daily Beast. You're idiots. You are blind idiots. Anyway, they quoted Elisa, a proud Washington 3% member who just showed up today at basic training. But apparently she's not doing a whole lot, because I saw her, on Facebook a little bit ago. So they haven't started beating her yet. But Elisa, God bless you. So glad that you're serving the country, and we're going to miss you from Washington 3%. I'm sorry that you were smeared by the Daily Beast. I'm sorry that they called you part of this multicultural white supremacy, and all of us that are part of this movement know how absolutely absurd that is. And go enjoy being 11 Bravo. Hey, while I'm on here, I've got a lot of 13, or I said 11 Bravo, geez, I meant 13 Bravo. Anyway, I've got a lot of 13 series friends on here. I've got a lot of 13 series, maybe AIT commanders around here. I've got a handful of cadre down there. Hit me up in private messenger. I want to make sure that chick gets taken care of properly. Somebody to watch for. She's an up-and-comer. She'll be an NCO quick. She's deserving. Anyway, moving on. Oh, more media bias. Local talk radio stations. I'm going to mention his name because he loves it when I do. Eric Rodet calls me upset, like angry, pissed off, upset, 3 days before our rally, Liberty or Death, and says there's a liberal talk radio station, some FM station out of Seattle, you all figured it out now, that said that the white nationalist Nazis are marching with Patriot Prayer in Seattle, and then called me out, Matt Marshall, by name. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. But thanks for the heads up there, Eric. But yeah, one more example of the media bias that we're getting ready to protest. And then I personally, along with multiples of our members, gave multiple interviews to local TV stations when we were at the last rally. I got one 5-second clip, and all of the clips from all of the other stations were minutes long, talking about how we're full of hate and they want us to get out of their city. Nobody gave us the time of day for any of our message, and it was absolutely disgusting. So with this said, we have tons of media bias against our organization, against conservative values, against anybody who believes in anything other than mob rule. There's tons of bias. So what we need to do is we need to have our equal voice. As conservatives, we have to be able to stand up and fight for what's right. The press needs to belong to the people. I've said this a couple times tonight. We need to take the press, we need to take it away from big business. We need to take it away from special interest. Because the press is supposed to be part of the power of the people. That's what matters. We want the press to be giving us the facts to cause some accountability in our country for both politicians, for business, for everybody. The purpose of the press is to give the facts to hold people accountable and so that people have the knowledge. That's why we have a press. It is not to spin further political bias, like the current left-wing media bias. So, all mainstream media right now, I'm not saying CNN, I'm not saying Fox, I'm not saying any of them. All mainstream media is at fault. And we're calling all mainstream media out for their left-wing media bias. So, I hope that we will see you December 1st. Liberty or Death 2. We've got some great speakers lined up. Confirmed speakers. We've got Matt Shea, Cherie Duvall. We got Pete Santilli. We've got Aryeh Rodet. Aryeh's an up-and-comer. You'll want to be there for that one. We got Chief Ben Charles is going to be speaking as well. We got Shauna, I can never say your last name, from AP3, and we got many more coming out there. We've got a few that are big names as well that haven't fully confirmed their flights, but we're gonna have a bunch more. So remember, everybody, Liberty or Death 2, Rally Against Left-Wing Media Bias, December 1st, 1 p.m., Seattle City Hall Plaza. Please be there, please show up. We're gonna be peaceful, we're gonna be respectful, we're gonna do the same thing we do always. And guess what we're also gonna do that I haven't talked about yet? We're gonna be back down there the weekend after, giving back to our communities, giving back to the homeless, because that's what we do, because we're good Americans. God bless you all. Matt Marshall, 3%, signing out.